Drone attack, major explosions in Moscow and Crimea. Last night an explosion occurred in the Russian capital on the territory of the Moscow city complex, and the Russians claimed a drone attack. In addition, the Russian Defense Ministry claims to have repelled an attack on the temporarily occupied Crimea. Moscow. After 4 o'clock, explosions were heard in the Russian capital in the Moscow region. Later, it was reported that an explosion occurred on the territory of the elite Moscow city complex, namely in the IQ-Quartal building. The net were rogue that an unknown drone crashed into the 5th and 6th floor of the building, which was 50 floors, damaging the towers. Moscow Mayor Serhiy Sobyanin assured there were no casualties or injuries, although the network reported that there was a victim. Telegram channels also reported that the explosion occurred in the so-called ministerial tower. The offices of 3 Russian ministers are located there: the Ministry of Economic Development, the Ministry of Industry and Trade, and the Ministry of Communications. After the incident, the Russian Ministry of Defense stated that it had repelled a drone attack, which was traditionally blamed on Ukraine. According to the Russians, one drone was allegedly shot down by the air defense over the territory of the Odintsovo district of Moscow region. 2 other drones, according to them, were allegedly suppressed with special means, after which they lost control and crashed into the Moscow city complex. It is also worth noting that Vnukovo airport was closed due to the explosion in the elite Moscow city complex. Flights were not accepted or sent. Russians are crying and trembling because of this. This can be seen and heard on the video. In addition, the Russian Defense Ministry announced a drone attack on the occupied Crimea. The Russians claimed that there were allegedly 25 drones and of course blamed the Ukrainian forces. 16 Ukrainian drones were destroyed by air defense fire. 9 more Ukrainian drones were neutralized by electronic warfare and crashed in the Black Sea and near Cape Tarkhnud before reaching their target, the Russian Defense Ministry said. Ukrainian armed forces reported successful strike on the Chongar Bridge in Crimea. Russian propagandists reported a new attack on the Chongar Bridge by the Ukrainian armed forces. Today at about 5 o'clock in the morning, a second strike was made on the Chongar Bridge. The consequences are unclear, the messages say. The propagandists added screenshots of reports from allegedly local residents that there was an attack on the Chongar Bridge and that the crossing was closed and cars were banned from crossing the bridge. He later added a photo of damaged Chongar Bridge. Consequences of a missile strike on the Chongar Railroad Bridge. The bypassengers booth and the contact line were damaged, but the bridge itself was not damaged, Saldo wrote. Kherson collaborator Volodymyr Saldo said the crossing was attacked by 12 missiles and all of them were shot down by Russian air defense. Last night, Kiev regime militants tried to destroy the railway between Kherson region and Crimea by firing 12 long-range Storm Shadows missiles. All of the missiles were shot down by our forces. In one place, the fragments of foreign weapons slightly damaged the Bicers roof and contact line. At the time I'm writing these words, by the damaged sticks has already been repaired and by the repair team also, Saldo wrote. But the missiles still partially destroyed the bridge. Ukrainian armed forces conducted counteroffensive operations in 3 frontline areas yesterday and advanced. Russian sources claim that the Ukrainian troops were continuing their assault near Klishivka, Kurdomivka and Andreyka south of Bakhmut, as I've analyzed said. At the same time, the Russians reported that they had allegedly repelled Ukrainian group attacks near Rivne, Staromorsky and Urozhaine on the border of Donetsk and Zaporizhzhia regions and claimed unsuccessful attacks by Ukrainian troops near Robotino in western Zaporizhzhia region. One Russian military blogger claimed that Ukrainian troops had seized a forest northern of Robotino. Meanwhile, Ukrainian officials officially reported that the Ukrainian armed forces were conducting counter-offensive operations near the border of Donetsk and Zaporizhzhia regions, as well as in the western part of Zaporizhzhia region.